I started, it's kind of, you'll notice if you're in any Facebook dog groups, this is the new fad, okay? Everybody now muzzle trains their dog, which is great. I simply use them. One, I always muzzle my dogs when they go to the vet. I don't want my vet to take the chance, if they put my dog into a truly uncomfortable situation, I don't want my dog to snap and hurt my vet. I like my vet. Maybe a vet I didn't like. Maybe take the chance. But I like my vet, so I don't want my dog to bite the vet and give me a headache of quarantining my dog and going through all that stuff. You don't want to do that. Okay, that's no fun because your dog really cannot leave the house or go anywhere for 10 to 14 days while they're on rabies quarantine, even if they've had their rabies shots. Okay? Another reason I muzzle train my dogs is if I'm out hiking, and I hike a lot, if something would happen and my dog, say my dog's running full speed and falls off a cliff, now I have an injured dog. Most dogs, when they are severely hurt, don't care who you are. They don't recognize you. They're going to snap because they're in pain. I mean, I get pretty grumpy when I'm in pain, so I don't blame them. So I carry a muzzle when I'm hiking. If anything would happen, I have that as backup. I can muzzle train or muzzle my dog, and I can gently carry them out, and I don't have to worry about getting bit. Another reason is aggression. If you have a dog that's kind of dog selective or human selective, you want everybody to be safe. So it's a good idea to muzzle train your dogs. Even if you have a dog that is dog selective and never gets off leash, if you're out in the woods or out walking at the park, some people let their dogs off leash that should not be let off leash. You have a dog that comes running up to you, your dog, now you have your dog under control, but if your dog doesn't like other dogs, this strange dog comes running up, and most of the time those strange dogs are super happy, so they're that whole body wiggly dog. They come up, get in your dog's face, and then it's a scuffle. And then you're usually not liable if your dog was on leash, it's the other person, but you still don't want to have to go through that. And you know, if that happened to me, I would still probably end up paying the vet bills because my dog did it, because I would feel bad. So it's a good idea if you have a reactive dog to muzzle train as well. If you have a dog that had surgery, that's another one. Say you have your dog spayed and the cone is not working, the bodysuit is not working. I have a dog that can literally fold herself in half. She's the most bendable dog. I swear she's the exorcist. She like folds herself in half and licks in weird places. So when she has her spay surgery, she'll probably be wearing not one of these, but one of my more solid muzzles to recover. Granted, she's going to get it off. It's not like I'm going to leave it on her 24 hours a day, but when I can't watch her, it's safer for her sutures to be in a muzzle she can't lick herself, probably along with the cone and a surgery suit, because she's that kind of dog. So recovering from surgery, that's always a good one too. And if you have a dog that's a rock eater, poop eater, unknown item eater, this is a good training aid to help with that as well. A lot of muzzles come with a guard you can buy that keeps them from picking things up off the ground. Now, I have several different types of muzzles with me. These are full grip. They're called basket muzzles. They come in all kinds of fun colors, so if you want to jazz up your muzzle training, you can get this type. This is also a basket muzzle. It is the metal variety, and most of this style is bite-proof as long as it is fitted properly. Your dog cannot bite through this type, and they usually cannot bite through this type either. They also have a basket muzzle. This is like a kind of a silicone-y, biothane type material. Now, I don't recommend these for a biting dog because they can bend it and they can bite through it. But if you have a dog that you need to put this on for things like picking stuff up out of the yard, things like that, this could be the one to go with. And then you have your classic cloth muzzle. This one your dog cannot open their mouth through, they cannot bite you through it as long as it's a properly fitted muzzle. These are the ones that vets use for dogs that have a bit of an issue when they get them in the office. Also, groomers usually use this style as well. Now, this one is to be used, hey, get back here. Come here, lie down. This one is to be used in the type of situation where you really do not want your dog to bite. It should only be used for a few minutes at a time. Okay, this isn't one that you want to work your dog out in the woods with when they're picking up stuff, or one that you don't want to use for an extended period of time. I'm going to tell you why. When your dog puts their face in here, their face is in, it holds their muzzle shut. They can open it a little bit, but they can't open it to fully pant or drink. When you're working with a muzzle that you want to use for extended periods of time, the reason I have all these basket muzzles is my dogs can pant and drink and take treats through these ones. That is why I use basket muzzles. Again, this style is great. It's a little heavier. So if you're thinking about trying a muzzle, there's a couple things you want to think about. Weight is one. Metal muzzles are heavy. If you really need one to keep biting at bay, like I said, this is a really good one, but they are very heavy. But you get into your plastic style, they're not as heavy, and like I said, this one is not that soft material, so your dog cannot bite through it. And it's much lighter and much more comfortable. Okay? So any questions thus far? Okay. So when you're muzzle training, if you decide to do this, I gave you a bunch of information on it in your homework tonight. Like I said, you want one that you can reward through. Now, when I'm muzzle training, this is why my dogs love squeeze cheese so much, because they've all been through the muzzle and the spoon stuff. So I take a tiny piece of tiny smear of squeeze cheese or peanut butter, as long as you watch for no xylitol, or birch sugar now I think it's called. I take a little bit of the cheese, oh you know, huh? And I smear it on the inside of the muzzle, okay? Hey, there's none in that one. And I show my dog, look, and I name it usually. Here, nose. Can't you reach the end? It's a little big. Good. Good girl. I let her lick it out. Here. Oh. Eventually, and she is muzzle trained, so she knows how to do this game. I tell her nose, she puts her nose in, nose. And I reward her with the squeeze cheese through the can, or through the muzzle. Good girl. Now this isn't one of those things, again, like I tell you with all my duration exercises, you don't want to rush this. You want to take your time. Let them check the muzzle out. Feed them the smear and the cheese. Do that for a while. Get them comfortable with it. Then you want to reward them like this through the muzzle for a while. Good girl. Nose. And I name it. Like I said, I name it nose. So my dogs learn to put their nose in. I reward them. Good girl. Then, eventually nose, I start to play with the straps. So I'll smear cheese in there, and I'll just put the straps around, mess with them, play with them before I ever fasten them on. Okay? And then we take it off. Good girl. So again, nose, good nose, good girl. Once you do this for long enough, nose, you can actually fasten your muzzle. And again, only for a couple seconds at a time. I know that's a little small for you. Only a couple seconds at first, then take it off. Then build it up slowly so you can leave it on longer and longer and longer. I know, you just have to wear that one. It's okay, you're fine. When I'm measuring for a muzzle, and like I said, in your handout, I gave you all this information. If I'm going to measure for a muzzle, I will have a ball, small ball, maybe not a full-size tennis ball, but a smaller one. I have either put it in their mouth and I measure around their snout, or I hold it under their chin and use the measuring tape around it and the ball. This way, it gives you an adequate measurement for panting room as well. If you want a muzzle, you want to make sure your dog can open their mouth, pant, and drink through it. Okay, so any questions?